Hi, this is Mark, and I am downtown in San Francisco, and there are some seagulls flying overhead. You might be able to hear them. Bit of a gray, well, kind of a cloudy sky. Just taught a class here, and I'm going to do my reading now from the Golden Present Daily Inspirational Readings by Sri Swami Satchidananda. And this is for August 8th, and the topic is We Are All Spiritual Beings. A question and answer. So this question is being directed to Swami Satchidananda, and this person asks, I am part of a women's group. Please advise us of any special chants or prayers or observances that will keep us aware of who we really are. We wish to unfold gracefully in accordance with spiritual teachings. And Swami Satchidananda says, well, if you want to become aware of who you really are, don't even form men's groups and women's groups. Men's groups and women's groups are formed in terms of a bundle of flesh and bone. We have to rise above the physical level. We have to transcend the physical and the mental also. The spiritual state is a transcendental state. As long as we get caught in the body and mind, we are not going to recognize the spirit. So if you really want to know who you are, say, I'm not a woman, I'm not a man, I'm not a scholar, I'm not a fool. Yes, all this scholarliness and foolishness are in the mind. So know that I am spirit originally, essentially, using the feminine body, so I'm calling myself a woman. That's all. Because you have a little body, you call yourself a child. Because you have a wrinkled body, you call yourself old. So you are associating yourself with the body and mind. That is what creates all the problems. If we really want to know who we are, we must rise above all these things and say, we are all spiritual beings. We are the image of God. We are all lights, burning, shining through different bulbs. Some are good old 110 volt. Some are also 108 volt. The minute you forget that, you revolt. So keep up the voltage. Oh, Swami Satchidananda, his humor, always there to help balance out some of these deeper thoughts. Find that so helpful to remember that, there is a way to keep in the play and playfulness, even when talking about some of these more really specific and poignant elements about the spiritual nature and spiritual practice. And this, for me, it ties in with, was it yesterday's? Yeah, yesterday's reading. Because, in this reading he talks about not distinguishing between man and woman. We are spiritual beings. We actually get into trouble when we start breaking it down and being so specific. But I think there are times when it is useful to be able to identify parts of ourselves, to be able to honor and support the nature of those things, because there are distinct differences in the material realm. And after all, we are living and existing in this material realm. We can't escape it until we do. I think there are spiritual beings who are moving towards a more equanimous state where they're able to have non-attachment to this identification of the self. But for most of us, we're in different places on that spectrum. And so yesterday's reading talked about that both observations and perspectives are useful. Sometimes we need to say, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, to learn how to work towards this place of non-attachment, to not overly identify. It's helpful to disidentify, to detach. In the larger picture, in the more deeper understandings of the spiritual practices, yes, we are all spiritual beings for sure. But in some ways, I feel like in the efforts to navigate through this world, we may need to have a little bit of a protective layer around ourselves, which might sometimes mean being able to be in a group that helps support those parts of ourselves that need strengthening. And that within that group, that strength in numbers think we can get fortified and slowly be able to, maybe amongst the power of that group, recognize the oneness. Recognize there is a balancing of all these different natures, and that all groups are doing that essentially to move towards that sense of understanding and compassion of one another. And when we move more and more towards that kind of place of understanding, compassion, acceptance within ourselves, in our own eyes, in our own experience, we then have that for others. And when we have that for others, I think we feel closer to one another, and we feel closer to that possibility of experiencing oneness and experiencing, this state of bliss where we're not so attached to compartmentalizing and segregating and isolating, and there's that sense of wanting to pull all together because we are all connected. So that was good for me to be reminded of and to ponder this one, because I like being involved in different groups that are specific, but I know that my ultimate goal is to recognize the unity and diversity, right? So thanks for watching, being a part of these, and I'll see you tomorrow.